Hey guys, are you ready to dump down math with me? Let's go. Today I'm going to solve a problem from simple equations. The question is the cost of 6 pencils, 10 erasers, and 5 sharpeners is 70. The cost of 9 pencils, 15 erasers, and 7 sharpeners is 104. Find the cost of 1 sharpener. To solve this problem, the first step is to convert whatever data given in the problem into some simple equations. As you can see, there are some quantities given and some not given, rather unknown. For example, the cost of each of the items we bought, like cost of 1 pencil, cost of 1 sharpener, and cost of 1 eraser, not mentioned in the problem. In fact, it is the cost of 1 sharpener we are asked to find out. So what do you do in such cases when you don't know the quantities of certain items? You use some variables to represent that. For example, let P be the cost of 1 pencil. Similarly, E be the cost of 1 eraser. Then what else? S is the cost of 1 sharpener. Now, using these variables and whatever given in the problem, let's form some equations. Now, what will be this? This will be the cost of 6 pencils. Similarly, cost of 10 erasers, 5 sharpeners. If you sum up this, you get the total cost of all these items you bought, which is given to be 70 rupees in the problem. Similarly, we got two equations, 1 and 2. Now, as you can see, there are three variables. Generally in problems where you have three variables, you need to have three equations. But you don't have enough data to help us frame one more equation. So you got to make do with two equations to arrive at the cost of whatever they want, which is the cost of 1 sharpener. Now look at this problem. See, what do you do in solving simple equations? You try to eliminate some of the variables and keeping others in the equation. For example, S is what we are asked to find out. So let's try to get P and E eliminated. So how do you get it eliminated? See, generally you can eliminate only one variable. Here you need to get both of them eliminated. So you need to find out suitable numbers with which you multiply the equations you have formed. Now look at this. This gives you what? 18p. While multiply both sides. Okay. Now similarly, this one. You got the same equations in some other form. Call this equation 3 and this one 4. Now what do? You can see the coefficients of these two variables being the same. So you just subtract equation number 4 from number 3. This will cancel out, this will cancel out. And what do you get here? 15 minus 14, 1. 1 you don't normally write. So S. And the right side is 210 minus 208, which is equal to 2. So you found out the cost of 1 sharpener, which is what you're asked to find out in the problem. Now, let me recap whatever I have shown in the solution to help you get a better understanding. See, generally speaking, you need as many equations as the number of unknowns in the problem. For example, as in this case, there are 3 variables. So, to find out all the 3 variables uniquely means only one value, you need to have 3 equations, but we don't have 3 equations. We are not actually finding all the 3 variables uniquely in the problem. We are asked to find out only one of them. So generally speaking, it's impossible to find out all the 3 variables uniquely. But in this case, the equations you have formed have 2 variables with their coefficients being proportional. Proportionality means what? This is the coefficient of the first equation for P. For the other one is 9 here. Take the ratio here and take the ratio of the other two. See, both are equal. This is 2:3. This is 2:3. Rather, you have the coefficients of these two variables being proportional. In that case, it's possible to find out suitable numbers with which the equations are to be multiplied, and then you can manipulate them so that both the variables, we don't want these two, will get eliminated in one shot. Now I have chosen 3 here and I have chosen 2 here. See, if the coefficients are proportional, you will be able to find out numbers of this kind, but you might be wondering how I chose those numbers. That you will get only by trial and error. You try with what to say 2, 3. If it doesn't work, you go to higher numbers. Normally the smaller coefficients, you need higher numbers. Higher coefficients, you need smaller numbers. That is the point to be kept in mind. In this problem, I have dealt with a number of equations being less than the number of variables. To help you get a better understanding, I will work out one more problem where you will see a similar kind of situation, but it is slightly different from this problem, so that you will get a wider understanding of various cases of problems of this kind. Here is the second problem. The cost of 5 samosas, 8 puffs and 11 donuts is rupees 700. The cost of 3 samosas, 5 puffs and 7 donuts is 450 rupees. Find the total cost of 1 samosa, 1 puff and 1 donut. Here also, as in the first case, in the previous problem, we translate the given data into equations. So, supposing S stands for the cost of 1 samosa, this will be the cost of 5 samosas. Similarly, this is the total cost of the first combination, which is given to be 700 in the problem. Similarly, name this equation 1 and this equation 2. Now, like in the previous case, you have 2 equations but 3 variables. Can we form one more equation? But you don't have enough one additional data to help us frame one more equation. So you got to make do with 2 equations for 3 variables. Here also, what are we asked to find out? We are finding out total cost of 1 samosa, 1 puff and 1 donut. This is what you're asked to find out. Now look at this. To find out this, there are 2 ways. One, you can find out all these 3 variables individually and then substitute here, which is not going to work out in this case, because since you don't have enough number of equations, it's not possible to find out all these 3 variables individually. So you need to explore some other ways. So the first method is out. What I'm going to do is, you will manipulate these 2 equations in such a way that you will be directly getting to this without finding each of them. Look at this. For that, what do? You need to find out some suitable numbers with which you will multiply or divide even sometimes both the equations. In this case, what you can do is, see, these coefficients are slightly higher than these coefficients. So what do? You will always multiply this equation by a smaller number and this by a bigger number. Generally, these are all general principles. There are some exceptions also. So let me multiply this equation by 2 and this equation by 3. Now you might be wondering how I got these numbers. The only method is to use the trial and error approach. You begin with the 2. See, 1 doesn't make sense. You get the same equation. So you begin with the 2, you multiply, and you see what number you should multiply the second equation with, so that each of the coefficients of one of the equations should be 1 less than each of the coefficients of the other equation. Now you will get to understand what I said just now as you take a close look at this. Look at this. What do you get by multiplying? While multiplying, please make sure that you multiply both the sides of the equation, otherwise the equation will change. You are supposed to keep the equation intact. Okay. Now do the same thing for the other one. Now you have got the same equations put differently in 2 different ways. Now look at the coefficients. Here you have each one of these coefficients being less than each of the other coefficients by 1. So just subtract this equation from this equation. You may call this equation 3 and this equation 4. Even if you don't write these things, that's okay. I'm showing it to you so you should get a clearer understanding. While working out problems in an actual situation, avoid writing too much. Write as least as possible. Then only you will be able to get to the solution faster. Now look at this, subtracting 10 minus 9, 1s. 1 we don't normally write, as you know. Again, p here. Again, 22 minus 21, 1d. So d here. Right side, this is 1400 minus, this is 1350. Now you subtract it. S plus p plus d. This will be 50. This is what you are asked to find out. Now look at this. We didn't have to find out SPD individually. Instead, you manipulated the two equations you had formed from the data in a certain way so that you are directly getting to this. And this is the only way to solve this problem. I hope you have understood both the problems I discussed in today's video clearly. If there is any clarification you need, please raise them in the comment section. I will address it there. And I'll be doing many more problems from simple equations so that you will get a better understanding and you will be able to face the examination more confidently and come out with flying colors. Thanks for watching.